Literature.
Pages.
Authors.
Reading things. The Book of Dad and Sybil. Hello, this is Dad.
And this is Sybil, and just to say, I hope you liked our little mini-sode last week.
Halloween ends a
Yeah.
mini-sode on Friday.
Friday.
So even though Halloween has passed and it's now we are firmly I say firmly, we are 2 days into November. This is our official Halloween-y episode, I suppose. So today we're going back to Edgar Allan Poe a little bit. However, I started to read 2 of his short stories and I have to admit that I was defeated. A little bit like I was with Berenice. I felt like a bit of a numpty.
I mean, as you'll see in my explanation after we read this, it got quite hard even for me, because how many verses were there?
Oh, something like 18 stanzas.
18.
Yeah. So
but luckily for you guys, we are breaking it down to 5.
So just to contextualise everything that we've just said, we are going to look at 4 different poems that are vaguely Halloween themed, so have some sort of spookies. And we mentioned last week when we were talking about other things that Poe had done that one of them was The Raven, which is a poem. Our first poem is The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. The second is Haunted by Siegfried Sassoon. The third is Ava by Christina Sung. And we'll finish off with Obedience or The Lying Tale by Jennifer Chang. So we have done an abridged version. We'll read each of these poems because we like them. That's why we've picked them.
Yeah.
Although we're not going to read all 18 stanzas of The Raven.
Because we'll get bored, you'll get bored.
Yeah.
It's a lose-lose situation.
No, nobody's coming out of this smelling of roses. So we've crushed it down to 5, which I'm sure that if you're a fan of Edgar Allan Poe, you will hate me for. But
just read it yourself.
Yeah, go read it yourself. If you're a fan of Edgar Allan Poe, you already know it. So just imagine that in our voices that we said it all. Hey, and then everybody's a winner.
Winner, chicken dinner.
So let's take it away, Sybil.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently tapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, "tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more."
Ah, distinctly I remember. It was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books a cease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here for evermore. And here's our first little break. If we had to sum up what happens in the following stanzas, he is sad.
He is going through the 5 stages of grief.
Yeah, he's deeply entrenched in the Kubler-Ross model.
But he's only going through 3 or 4.
Yes.
Absolutely no acceptance in this.
No, we don't reach the acceptance level. We think the Raven might be part of his acceptance if you follow the Kubler-Ross model of the 5 stages of grief.
I put it in. And also, quick mention, I looked at a book called The Highwayman. It is a poem and it's by Alfred Noyes. Go check it out. And it's set kind of like this.
Yeah, so like the rhythm and the kind of the motion of it is quite similar to how this is set. So we get our titular Raven. Can you take that bit for us, Sybil?
Ooh. Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt on flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mine of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more.
Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, and wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on night's Plutonian shore.
Ciao.
Quoth the raven, nevermore.
And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.
As we said, that was a very condensed version. I like the kind of the sense of movement and motion in this poem. A long time ago, when I was at college, did English literature, and we did a lot of poetic analysis. And I'm sure that sixth form me could have told you about how it was actually structured and how that was created, but I cannot remember.
Once you told me of. This isn't even a poem, but I'm just remembering this right now. The albatross curse thing.
Oh yeah, no, that's the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Yeah, I think that's like a long form. Yeah, but that was.
Yeah, I just remember it.
Yeah, that was actually in year 8, even longer ago. So, the poem is centered around the narrator's grief over Lenore, his lost love. It takes me out of the intensity of the poem a bit, because Lenore is in the UK where we live is a brand of like fabric detergent for washing your clothes. Yeah, Lenore. Yeah.
I thought it was Windex.
Windex. Well, believe it or not, child, Windex is for Windows.
Like what?
What?
I'm only just learning this.
I think I found quite dense to get through. But I did have to go and search up some words. So here's a list of words I now know as a result of reading this poem. Nepenthe, or nepenthe, a drug from Homer's Odyssey, which is meant to cure grief or sadness. Lovely stuff. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's made up. Homer's Odyssey is a like a Greek tale. Surcease is another way for
Cease.
Yes.
Cease equals ending.
It's another word for an ending. And obeisance, which means
obey.
respect. Oh, could be. I don't know.
Obey.
Your guess is as good as mine. Sybil, your thoughts.
One word. Longer.
It's a long poem.
I mean, in our notes, you should see how many O's I have.
I'm gonna estimate about 15 O's in the word long in Sybil's
Probably.
notes. Yeah.
And this is before we shortened it, so I had to read all 18.
Such a hard life.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, it is very repetitive and hard to get through. And at first I didn't really know what the story was about, so Dad had to explain it to me. She did a decent job at.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So next is Haunted by Siegfried Sassoon.
Haunted.
So, evening was in the wood, lowering with storm. A time of drought had sucked the weedy pool and baked the channels. Birds had done with song. Thirst was a dream of fountains in the moon, or willow music blown across the water, leisurely sliding on by weir and mill. Uneasy was the man who wandered, brooding, his face a little whiter than the dusk. A drone of sultry wings flickered in his head. Do you think that Siegfried Sassoon imagined that when he was writing this? That every reader of the poem should have a small child doing Foley sound, vocal Foley sound. The end of sunset burning through the boughs died in a smear of red, exhausted hours. Cumbered and ugly sorrows hemmed him in. He thought somewhere there's thunder as he strove to shake off dread. He dared not look behind him, but stood, the sweat of horror on his face. What is that sound effect? What is that?
It's the thing behind him.
Okay. He blundered down a path, trampling on thistles, in sudden race to leave the ghostly trees. and soon I'll be in open fields, he thought, and half remembered starlight on the meadows, scent of mown grass and voices of tired men, fading along the field paths, home and sleep, and cool swept upland spaces, whispering leaves, and far off the long churring nightjar's note. But something in the wood, trying to daunt him, led him confused in circles through the thicket.
He was forgetting his old wretched folly, and freedom was his need. His throat was choking. Barbed brambles gripped and clawed him around his legs, and he floundered over snags and hidden stumps, mumbling, "I will get out, I must get out," butting and thrusting up the baffling gloom, pausing to listen in a space twixt thorns. He peers around with peering, frantic eyes. An evil creature in the twilight looping, flapped blindly in his face, beating it off. He screeched in terror, and straightway something clambered heavily from an oak and dropped, bent double, to shamble at him zigzag, squat, and bestial. Headlong he charges down the wood and falls with roaring brain agony, the snapped spark and lots of green and purple in his eyes, then the slow fingers groping on his neck, and at his heart the strangling clasp of death.
Lovely stuff.
Can I be a voice actor when I grow up?
Sure, you've got real potential, and a Foley artist doing sound effects for the films. You could work in the talkies. So, I really like this, especially in the bit that Sybil just read. We get that mounting sense of dread as we get towards the end. Sassoon's poetry often focuses around his time as a soldier in the First World War. He fought on the Western Front. He was a decorated soldier for his valour, and he was also he kind of led a one-man protest against the way that the war was being waged at the front. So he was very much an anti-war poet, but he was a soldier as well. So the kind of what's said here is that the monster that is chasing him is representative of his and other soldiers' PTSD following their time in the trenches.
Yeah.
Sybil, your thoughts?
Yeah, Daddy said most of it, and yes, at the end he might be like passing out because of the like green and purple blots in his eyes. And I stole the PTSD bit, but he stole it back.
Oh, yeah.
I'm angry now.
She's so angry.
I'm angry now.
Because I said the words PTSD, and I had forgotten that she was going to talk about the fact that it was about PTSD. She's making angry poses at me now. I may not last the night, ladies and gentlemen. So, two slightly shorter ones to finish off. So the first of our slightly shorter ones is Ava by Christina Sung.
I like how it's just a name.
Yeah, right, go for it.
And so she turned. I kept her grunting and lost in the guest bathroom, and soon the melody of her movements matched the cacophony of the others shifting around outside. How I longed to open the door to see her, but I knew she was no longer the daughter I loved. Yet part of me wondered if there was any bit of Ava left in that shell, if she was aware at some level of what she had become. Every night I soothed her with a song, the same one I sang to her when she was a baby, nestled in my arms. She always stopped her shuffling and listened, but tonight she quietened and cooed. For the first time, she said, "Ma, ma," slowly and concisely, as if she was struggling with vocal cords. They were ripped beyond repair. I could not help it. I had to know. Tears rolling down my face, I placed my hand on the doorknob. I took a deep breath and turned.
Yeah. This one I think had more of like an obvious spook factor than the last two that are maybe more, well, I just because they're wordier. This is much more impactful, pretty hard hitting as a parent, so probably describing an infected sort of child, possibly in some sort of zombie outbreak, and the parent come to terms with that child's change.
shuffling
Yeah.
and grunting and not being able to speak properly.
Yeah. Your thoughts on this one, Seb?
Yeah, so my thoughts, it was emotional. It's probably the saddest one in this.
Yeah, for sure.
And I gotta say, like if you were that child, and she's infected and it's totally not her fault and she can't do anything about it.
I thought it was very interesting that it kind of, whatever she's turned into gets a voice at the end. Which is creepy, but makes it much sadder. Because it's like there is still a little bit of that child left. But yeah, that was it was good. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. The next one is Obedience or the Lying Tale by Jennifer Chang. So, I will do everything you tell me, mother. I will charm 3 gold hairs from the demon's head. I will choke the mouse that gnaws an apple tree's roots and keep its skin for a glove. To the wolf, I will be pretty and kind and curtsy his crossing of my path.
No thanks.
The forest, vocal even its sombre tread rages. A slope ends in a pit of foxes, drunk on rotten brambles of berries, and the raccoons ransack a rabbit's unmasked hole. But what do they find but a winter's heap of droppings, a stolen nest, the cracked shells of another creature's child? I imagine this is the rabbit way, and I will not stray, mother, into the forest thick, where the trees meet the dark, though I have no misgivings of light as a hot hand that flickers against my neck. The path ends at a river I must cross. I will wait for the ferryman to motion me through. Into the waves he etches with his oar a new story. A silent girl runs away. A silent girl is never safe.
Why?
I will take his oar in my hand. I will learn the boat's rocking and bring myself back and forth. To be good is the hurricane of caution. I will know indecision's rowing. The water I lap into my lap as he shakes his withered head. Behind me is the forest. Before me, the field, a loose run of grass. I stay in the river, mother. I study escape. I liked the kind of the Red Riding Hood-esque kind of setup for it.
And I just love the sound effects.
Yeah, no, the sound effects, they in all fairness, they are stage directions.
Who did that?
Yeah, who could it be?
Yeah,
I've no idea.
Who would be that talented?
Who would be that talented to provide Foley sound that effective? So yeah, I think there's quite a lot of sort of good things to take from this. I like the idea of it sort of suggesting, kind of fostering the independence of the Red Riding Hood character that is often seen as the reason for everything bad that happens in that story. So to the wolf I will be pretty and kind and curtsy his crossing of my path. And then I liked what else? I've written another one down here. A silent girl is never safe. So I like that idea of strengthening the female voice. Last thoughts on this one, Sybil?
Yeah, would you really be that willing? Because I wouldn't.
I think it's also the idea of crossing the river is maybe going into the independence of adulthood.
Into womanhood.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think there's a lot of bits...
The journey into womanhood is not good. No.
I mean, you do get the rough end of the deal. Yeah, that's for truth. But I do like that this is talking about that kind of fostering of independence. And, I think I would be interested to go and read some more of Jennifer Chang's work and see if it all fits that. I think I read a little bit of this about this poem, and this was talking about her moving from her sort of familial home into living in a big city on her own. So there was that sense of moving from
so she's growing up.
Familiarity into independence and something new. So yeah, we're not sure where we're going to go in for the rest of November. I'm not. Yes. I'm just going to nod
20.
and smile. Yeah, we are recording this quite late, so if we seem a little bit even more tangential than normal and slightly wild and if my child has been making lots of sound effects while I've been trying to read poetry, then that maybe explains it. So,
Yeah.
we will see what November brings us, but I'm sure whatever it is will be.
November's such a boring month.
Well, we're going to make it incredibly interesting with a few choice reads. So, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Literature.